2-in-1 moisture meter. So this is used to find out how much moisture is in building materials and wood. And if you're a DIY woodworker like I am, this is great at determining if the wood I'm using is dry enough to work with. It's also a diagnostic tool to locate leaks or determine whether it's dry enough to apply like a sealer or paint. And the 2-in-1 is that it has an inductive meter, which is non-destructive, and it has a pin meter, which is destructive because those pins have to be pushed into the material. This will give you an accurate reading of the percentage of moisture in a product that you're testing: wood, stucco, cement, or brick. And the inductive probe gives you a relative reading. This is a rechargeable unit with a USB-C port, and that port is also used to plug in the destructive pin connector into it. So for the buttons, you have your on, your lock hold, your settings are backlight, your relative, meaning you want to use the inductive probe. This button is for the pin probe, and you can switch between if you're you can switch between if you're testing wood or building materials, and a button to turn off the buzzer or to turn on or off the automatic power off feature. And if you're in settings mode, you have up and down arrows. So when it comes on, it shows the automatic power feature is turned on, which I appreciate as I forget to turn off my tools all the time. This will turn off automatically in half an hour. You can turn it on by pressing and holding the APO button. I always have it on. And to turn the buzzer on and off, you just tap the APO button. And there's also a battery level indicator. This is your relative moisture meter, and the numbers would be a percentage reading. So when you initially turn the probe on, it has to calibrate, and you want to hold it away from building materials as it's calibrating to the humidity in the air. So once it's done calibrating, this light will start to change from green, which is dry, to blue, which is moist, to red, which is wet. And it's important to keep in mind that this is relative. Some materials, like stucco, are just wetter. They hold more moisture. This would be best to try and locate a leak in a wall. And again, it's relative. So go to a good area first to get an idea of what normal is. So you want to stay away from metal and the studs in a wall, which will read higher, like on a corner bead. So you just probe around, and when you get something that's unusual or higher, you ask why. Figure out if you have metal or a stud there, and you can determine if you have a leak in a wall. The inductive distance it can check is less than or equal to 40 millimeters, and that will depend on the density of the material, and it has to be at least 5 millimeters thick. Otherwise, it's just seeing right through it. A different way to calibrate it is to hit the probe button, and if you put your hand next to it, you'll see the reading all the way up to 100%. When you plug in the pin meter, it'll switch over to the pin probe, and it'll either have the wood symbol or the building material symbol, and you can toggle back and forth. So these pin probes are destructive because you have to push the pin probes into the material and it will leave dimples. So there's also a way to check if the percentages the meter is giving you don't seem reasonable. If the setting is on wood, which it is, it should read, so you put the pin probes on the back, between 24 and 24.5%. And if it's on building material, it should read about 14-ish%. So these read correctly. This is ideal for construction wood because it's so soft. So this is soft wood, and I can easily sink the probes in. I think the minimum is 4 millimeters before you get a read, and I get, let's just say 10%. So trying to push this 4 millimeters into hardwood is extremely difficult. And with moisture meters, the closer you can get to the center of the piece of wood you're working with, the better. And you shouldn't measure within 5 centimeters of a cut. So with expensive hardwood, I'm not going to dig into the face of the material. I'm just going to have to use the end. So this will absolutely be my go-to tool for diagnosing leaks in the wall and determining the moisture in building materials for my green lumber to see if they've reached an acceptable moisture level. So it comes in a nice pack. You have replaceable prongs, and it comes with a user manual. So thanks to Neoteck for sending me this very useful gadget to try. I'm a big fan. Go check it out.